Okay, so the same process here is going to be required for the footer file. But obviously before I open the footer file, I need to update this file. And this is because this is a basic editor, it won't prompt you necessarily if you forget to update the file. So just bear that in mind. If something doesn't work, well, maybe you didn't save it. And that's a pretty common thing for people to forget to do. Okay, so that's the header file taken care of. Now let's open the footer file. Okay, this one's a little bit less intuitive, I suppose, because what happens is that it actually starts sometime before the end of the body tag. So the footer is not the head, it's not like the head file, which is a separate section of the HTML document. It's actually the last part of the body of the document. So this end of the body tag here is actually part of the page. Right, so, and there might be some other stuff here. So for example, Divi puts all of this other stuff into the footer. And these are the scripts that are available on each page load. As you can see, I've added the Elevator.js script here. And that's very similar to what we saw in the example file here, just down the bottom. So that's this script here. And obviously I just need to update the links to the audio files and then also make sure that everything else is correct as well. So that class there has to match what I'm actually using on my document so that it all links up. Okay, so back to the editor. What I've done here is, see the class here is elevator button, okay, because that's what I've decided to use as the class for my elevator button. Oh, by the way, the reason we're using a class, as in the dot there instead of a hash, which would be an ID, is that means we can have multiple buttons on the same page. So if we've got a very long page, we can have a whole bunch of back to the top buttons and they'll all work. If we used an ID with a hash there, then we'd only be allowed to have one on the page. Okay, so now as you can see with these audio files, they're full URLs as well. And how did I get those? Well, let's just go back to the example here. Right, so underneath the master file is a file called demo and then music, and that's where they sit. And that's also visible in the FTP program there. So underneath the master folder, demo and music, and this is where in the music file, the music folder, that's where the audio files live. So I just need to make sure that these links are correct, and they are. So now where I've put this is just before the closing body tag, because I want this to be loaded last. And the reason for that is that I don't want it to mark up anything else that my theme is doing. So I'll let my theme do everything it needs to do, and then after that it does this. Okay, so, and then of course again you update the file if you've made any changes. Just like that. Okay, now we've only got one more thing to do, and that is to actually add the link in the page, which was this back to the top link. So we'll do that next.